In our last video, we talked about the business cycle and how our economy has many ups and downs, and we call those expansions and recessions. We talked about what happens during those expansions and recessions, and today we're going to talk about one of the ways that the government can help to stabilize the economy so that we are riding out our expansions as long as possible and that our recessions happen quickly and not so severely. And that is through fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is determined by Congress and the president, and it deals with the amount of money that the government is going to spend. Is it going to spend more or less? And it deals with taxes. So, would Congress increase or decrease taxes? And this is known as fiscal policy. So, let's review. This is from civics. Who designs the budget and who passes it? If you said that the president and his bureaucracy helped to design the budget, that is correct, and Congress will pass it. We know that appropriation bills are bills that deal with money, and the appropriation bills start in the House of Representatives. So the House of Representatives would design the budget or originally pass the budget, and then the Senate would have to approve the budget before it became law and signed by the president. All right, so what can Congress do with the help and guidance of the president? Now, the president is the figurehead, so he's going to be the one who is making suggestions or urging Congress to do one thing or the other. But ultimately, Congress gets to decide what to do. So what can Congress do to slow the economy down or speed it up? And remember, we want to slow the economy down when we are expanding. Think of the roller coaster. You know, we're going up the roller coaster. You're going up slow, so that gets your nerves all freaked out. And so when you get to the top, it stalls and then it goes really fast. So we want the same thing to happen in our economy, right? We want to go up the expansion slowly. We want that expansion to last as many months or years as possible, because that means our economy is growing and thriving for months or years. When we have a recession, we want that recession, in order to stabilize the economy, we want it to happen rather quickly so we can get out of the recession and back into an expansion as quick as possible and with the least severe dip as possible. So we are going to want to slow the economy when it's doing really well so that we don't peak out too soon. And we will want to speed up the economy, have people spending money and encourage people to go out and purchase things when the economy is declining. Because we know that as the economy declines, generally speaking, people are getting laid off or businesses are closing, income is declining, people are not getting pay raises if there's a recession. So people are less inclined to spend money during a recession. They're going to want to save that money and store it just in case, because if the recession gets worse, they want to be able to have money, or they maybe have lost a job and they just don't have the money to spend. So in order to get the economy to speed up, the government is going to encourage people to spend money, because spending money helps us get out of a recession. All right, so if the economy is not doing well, you need to write, the goal is to speed the economy. Okay, we want people to spend money. If you think speed, think spend. People are not going to want to spend their money during a recession, but the government is going to want to encourage people to spend money so that we can go ahead and get out of the recession. When people are spending money and investing money, then businesses can pick back up again. So in order to do that, Congress is going to lower tax rates generally, because if you are paying less money in taxes, that frees up more money for you to spend on other things, on vacations, on buying a new home or a new car. So lower taxes so people have more money in their pocket to spend. Okay, the government is also going to spend more money. We'll see this in things like the stimulus package. Okay, so the government's going to spend more money. If we think back to Franklin Roosevelt and the Great Depression, Franklin Roosevelt created lots of programs and agencies to put people to work. They were paying people to plant flowers on the side of the interstates. They were paying people to pick up trash. They will pay people, they will create jobs so that people will have be able to have jobs so that they will spend money. And the government's going to pay for those. So the government is going to spend money in order to try to get people out of, or in order to try to get the country out of a recession. And we've seen this just recently in the COVID-19 relief packages. Everybody knows that when COVID-19 hit, the economy crashed rather quickly because businesses were going to have to shut down. People were fearful. They were saving their money because they just did not know what to expect. And so the economy crashed rather quickly. And the government had to figure out a way to get people to spend money. And to do that, we saw the stimulus packages. We saw the same thing in the 2009 recession in stimulus packages and bailouts. The government is generally going to spend lots and lots more money. Deficit spending for sure is happening. All right, if the economy is doing really well, if we are on the expansion phase of the business cycle, the government is going to slow the economy down. Not that it wants to ruin the economy. It just wants us to continue growing for as long as possible, as many months or years as possible. So in that situation, the government is going to raise taxes so that people have less money in their pockets, so they're not spending it all so quickly. And the government will spend less money. Obviously, they're not going to have bailouts and stimulus packages if the economy is thriving and doing well. We'll just be less likely to see that. So I want to show you this cool infographic. It shows from the CARES Act. So after COVID-19, economy tanked and lots of businesses closed. People lost their jobs because of the shutdowns, government shutdowns, in order to protect people and their health. We're just trying to, slow the spread, wear masks, social distancing, all that. And so the government spent a whole lot of money, $2.3 trillion, through the CARES Act. And the CARES Act, the goal was literally to put money in the hands of people so they would have money to pay their bills and to make it through the shutdowns. And so we can see the source: direct payments from the government, unemployment money was going out, tax breaks, okay, loans from the government, grants from the government. All of this is the money that the government was spending to give to people. And let's see where this money went. It went directly to households. It went to businesses, the airline industry, small businesses and large businesses alike, through things like the payroll grant. It went to different states and municipalities. Remember, a municipality is like a city, to help them, FEMA, healthcare providers. So the money, generally speaking, when we look at households and businesses, almost all the money was going directly to the hands of people and business owners, from the government to the people, so that the people and the businesses could spend money, right? Because spending money is what helps us get out of a recession. But because people are not inclined to spend money during a recession, the government is going to have to do something to encourage it. And they're going to do things like cut taxes and spend money through like the stimulus package. And we can see how Americans spent their money. Okay, we see that this works. The Americans spent their money on food and their utilities and telecommunications. They spent their money on household supplies or personal care products, paying rent for their vehicles or for their mortgage. Okay, paying down credit cards and other kinds of debt. They spent it on clothing. So we see that people spent money, which is great. That's the whole intention of the stimulus. So again, two things that the government can do through fiscal policy. Later, we're going to talk about monetary policy, but through fiscal policy, which is led by Congress and the president, we can see that they can cut taxes or raise them, and we can see that they can spend more money from the government or spend less, depending on whether we're in a recession or in an expansion. And the whole goal is to slow the economy or to speed it up.